Hello everyone, welcome to the lecture session of Geochemistry Nepal. Today we'll be discussing about introduction part of geochemistry. Let's begin. So basically we'll start from the definition of geochemistry. Alright? So basically we can split the word into geo and chemistry. We can see that. So we know that geo means it's geology. It is the study of earth science. And in chemistry what we do is we mostly discuss about the elements, the compounds, the chemical components. Right? We have done this in our college and school as well. So by this we can learn that geochemistry deals with the origin, evolution and distribution of the chemical elements on the earth. Let me give you an example. We have read that there are three interior parts of the earth: crust, the outermost, mantle and the core, which is the innermost. So these things are composed of certain chemical components. What we do in geochemistry is we take a reference of an element and then we study the origin being based on that element or the combination of the elements, that is the compound. So these chemicals are mostly found in the rock forming minerals and its derivative. Let me give you an example. So when I say dolostone or dolomite is a mineral and limestone is a rock. So what is its composition? CaCO3. So Ca, that's calcium carbonate. Right, so we can see the combination of elements, right? We can see the combination of the three different things in CaCO3, that is Ca and then oxygen O. So this is how we can see that the existence of the elements on the rock forming minerals. The water atmosphere as well as living beings too has this sort of elements. Like in our body itself we have many elements, and if we talk about the atmosphere, we know that 78% of the atmosphere is occupied by nitrogen, 20% nearly it's occupied by oxygen, and even carbon dioxide, which is a compound, it occupies certain portion of the earth's atmosphere. So we need to be aware of these things before we dive into geochemistry. Now let's discuss of the principle of the geochemistry. On what basis geochemistry runs, or what is the tool that is used by the geochemist or the learners of the geochemistry. Like I said before, we need to revise the basics of chemistry to explore geochemistry in broader sense. Okay? Geochemistry works on the principle of chemistry and describes the working of huge system within the earth. For an instance, the earth crust or ocean. Now remember the example that I gave you in the earlier slide. Like if I take crust, then what is crust composed of? What do you think? It's aluminum silicon, right? So with basis of these chemical components, we derive the huge system, that is the earth crust, for example. Similarly, we can do this for many other components of the earth. Now the last slide for today is the scope of geochemistry. So basically I am not discussing about the job opportunities or the economical or professional scope of geochemistry. What I am going to talk is about the uses and importance of the geochemistry in field of earth science or geology. Like if you have to characterize the economic minerals, for any sort of industry or any sort of project, then you need to have that knowledge of geochemistry, like what chemical components can be present in certain minerals that makes it economic or it doesn't make it economic. Okay. Similarly, if you are exploring oil, for example, okay, or certain other things in exploration geology, geochemistry has huge importance. Similar is case of petroleum geology, and I have already given you example of earth's interior. How can we evaluate, or how can we interpolate, how can we simulate the earth's interior being based on the geochemistry. Now you must have heard about isotopes, right? So generally what geologists do is they study, or chemists do is they study the isotopes, on the basis of which they derive the thermal history or thermal evolution of the magma, crystallization state of the magma, and many other things. The last one is geochronology. There are many other scopes, but I mentioned you 6 important scopes of geochemistry. So geochronology is study of absolute age of something, right? So being based on certain element present in a rock, we can relate the age of the rock, right? This is all. So in next video we'll be discussing about the internal structure of the earth, totally being based on the geochemistry, on the perspective of the geochemistry. So stay tuned for that. Thank you.